Hello, all, and welcome. We are back kicking off a new series on AI and the workplace. Today's episode is on the future of work insights. We'll be diving into the recent findings from the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025 with a focus on how AI, big data, and soft skills are helping reshape the U.S. workforce. Now, with those not familiar with this report, it is researched and published annually by the World Economic Forum. Our guest today is Dr. Guido Minaya, CEO and Chief Learning Officer with Minaya Learning Global Solutions, who has been researching the workforce transformation and emerging technologies. Let's get started. Hello, Dr. Minaya. Welcome back.
Hello, Dario. Thanks for inviting me back on the show. I think this series on AI in the workplace will be a fun conversation and most enlightening for our listeners.
I agree, especially with AI being a passion topic for you as well. So let's jump in. I'd like a little preface before we dive into the topic. So, for our listeners who may not be familiar with this report, would you explain a bit about how this report is developed?
Sure. Well, here's a brief explanation which comes from the managing director of the World Economic Forum. Over the past decade, the World Economic Forum's biannual Future of Jobs report has followed evolving technological, societal, and economic trends to understand occupational disruptions and identify opportunities for workers to transition to the jobs of the future. And central to the report is a unique data set that's derived from extensive surveying of global employers. So this year's report captures the perspectives of over 1,000 employers, and this represents more than 14 million workers across 22 industry clusters and 55 economies. So it really provides an unparalleled insight into the emerging jobs landscape for the period of 2025 to 2030.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for the background on that. That's very helpful. So, let's start with the last question I was planning to ask you. I think it will set the stage well for the balance of our conversation. What is your biggest takeaway from the Future of Jobs Report 2025 for the US workforce?
Yes, well, that's a great way to approach this. Well, I'd say the biggest takeaway is that AI isn't replacing jobs, it's transforming them, right? The key to success lies in adapting, learning, and collaborating about
Mm.
AI and with AI. The future workforce will be a blend of human creativity and AI driven efficiency. And those who embrace this shift will thrive. But let's make no mistake, we need to embrace this now. The future is here.
I like how that was put, human creativity and AI driven efficiency. AI and big data are driving major shifts in the workforce, right? So, how significant is this transformation in the US?
Great question. Right. And just to back up a little bit, the annual report breaks down key countries. And in this case, my comments will be around the US data that's in the report, right? So the impact is massive. According to the Future of Jobs Report 2025, 94% of US companies expect AI and big data to transform their operations by 2030, right? So that's pretty huge. AI is now embedded in nearly every industry. So from automating routine tasks to enhancing decision-making processes, this shift is driving demand for AI driven roles and upskilling efforts across organizations. It is interesting that industry sectors, even like agriculture and of course healthcare, are leading the way.
Which job roles are growing the fastest then due to AI and big data?
The fastest growing roles include AI and machine learning specialists, big data analysts, data scientists, and cybersecurity experts, right? So these
Mm.
roles, these professionals are essential for handling AI driven automation, data analytics, and securing digital infrastructures. And just locally, in the last couple of weeks, I've met several people in our own local community who hold these job titles.
Now, are there any jobs that AI is replacing or, making obsolete?
If we look at the clerical and administrative roles, such as data entry clerks, software testers, and bank tellers.
Mm.
These are among the fastest declining roles, right?
Mm.
AI and automation are reducing the need for repetitive tasks, but shifting workforce demand towards roles that require critical thinking and AI collaboration.
How are US companies preparing their workforce for AI integration? I can imagine that'd be a task, right?
In terms of goals, they're definitely there. Like 87% of US employers, according to the report, are actively investing in upskilling and reskilling programs to help employees work alongside AI. Additionally, 73% are hiring new employees with AI expertise to fill skill gaps. So, this highlights the urgency for our workforce, for professionals to develop AI literacy to stay competitive in the job market. And really, as we have a foundation in AI literacy, we'll be able to provide even greater value to the companies and organizations we work for.
Beyond technical skills, which soft skills are most in demand for AI driven workplaces then?
Great question. Great question. Well, employers are prioritizing analytical thinking, resilience, leadership, creativity, collaboration. AI can automate many tasks, right? But human judgment, adaptability, and problem solving remain irreplaceable, right? And even empathy and active listening are also gaining importance as AI takes over the routine customer interactions, making the human connections even more valuable.
So, how will AI change the balance between human and machine work?
Yes, according to the report, by 2030, about 30% of tasks will be human led, right? As they
Hmm.
are now, right? 36% will be a hybrid, AI assisted, right? And then 34% will be AI dominated.
Wow.
So this means that workers will need to collaborate with AI rather than compete with AI. The most successful employees will know how to leverage AI tools to enhance their productivity and decision making and to continue to add value to their company or organization.
So, what are some of the biggest barriers to AI adoption in the workplace then?
Right, right. Well, the biggest barrier is the AI skill gap.
Mm.
According to the report, about 58% of US employers cite the lack of AI expertise as a major challenge to workforce transformation. Additionally, companies struggle with integrating AI with existing workflows and ensuring that employees embrace new AI driven processes, right? So, just like any group within a large company, your leaders, your senior managers, your supervisors, there's a great need for them to have an AI literacy and skill development so that then they can provide guidance to the workforce that's under them. So I think that's another challenge, making sure that not only the workforce is AI literate, but also that we focus on how our leaders and managers can be able to direct traffic there.
Well, yes, some of those do seem like big barriers. What role does public policy play in supporting AI driven workforce transformation?
Great question. So 55% of US companies support government-backed AI reskilling initiatives. Businesses are advocating for investment in STEM education, remote work regulations, and labor law reforms to support the AI driven job market. Collaboration between public and private sectors is crucial to ensuring workers are prepared for AI integration. We just got back from visiting with the provost of Princeton, and in New Jersey, Princeton has been tapped to lead an initiative called the AI Hub. And
Mm.
really, the goal is to provide support for higher ed K 12 and the business sector in reskilling as well as developing AI projects, initiatives, solutions. So that's a great example of a public-private collaboration where the state government is putting in place a support structure that would provide that kind of development. And then also in California, it was interesting that they now have the directive to have AI taught in K-12 so that when students graduate, they'll have an AI background and potentially a certification. So we're seeing different states approach it in different ways, but very critical that you have that public policy providing the kind of support for an AI driven workforce.
So, can you share maybe what advice you have for professionals looking to future proof their careers in the AI era?
Again, going back to earlier comments, it starts with developing an AI literacy,
Mm.
right? Understand how AI works, how it impacts your field, and focus on key soft skills. Now they're being considered like super soft skills, like creativity, adaptability, and leadership. These remain irreplaceable. And finally, my goodness, I am learning every day. I'm looking at use cases, case studies, continuously upskill yourself through so many different means, right? Online courses, YouTube certifications, and of course, workforce training programs. Stay agile and tech savvy, and you will stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, well, that was for the individual. How about what advice do you have for small, medium, and large businesses with respect to reskilling the workforce?
Great. Well, I think that may be an episode by itself. But I'd say after researching this for over a year and a half, we go back to the same point. I believe that the most critical step is to prepare your workforce through an AI literacy initiative.
Mm.
The more I learn what companies, small and large, are doing throughout the world, the question comes back. Well, I get that AI literacy is key for my workforce, but how do I scale that?
Wow. Well, thank you, Dr. Minaya, for sharing these valuable insights. And that'll do it for today's episode of Future of Work Insights. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to subscribe and share. On our next episode, we'll be covering what can learning and development teams within companies do to prepare their workforce. We will focus on how companies can scale their AI literacy developments. Until next time.